this demonstration, we're going to cover how to georeference an image. It is actually just a portion of Lab 6. So we're in Blackboard. We're going to go to the Learning Modules and download Lab 6. I'm working in Chrome today, so I'm going to have to put a new folder on the C drive in a little bit different way. And you name that your surname, Lab 06. And we're going to let this download. As soon as it downloads, I'll just drag it over there into the folder. This lab is not due prior to the midterm. You will have to have acquired the skills to georeference an image to do the midterm examination. So that's why I'm demoing this before the lab is actually due. This lab will not be due in its entirety until sometime after the midterm. So we're just about ready here to drag this over onto the folder. Okay, the downloading is done. What I can do is actually I believe we can just copy this over into the Lab 6, and let's take a look at what's there. I'm going to minimize this screen. We have ESRI Mesoamerica. You're not going to use that. This is the lab sheet. We'll double left click to open that up because it has a some instructions on georeferencing, what you're supposed to do. You're only going to do this portion down to here. We're not going to create these features. So there's the lab. We have US sample TIFF. We're not going to use that. We have a Microsoft Access database called Yucatan. You won't use that this time. US sample you will use. USA Southeast based TIFF is a TIFF image. Let's take a look at that. Okay, it's the southeastern United States. We have Arkansas, Louisiana, Florida, through Georgia and the Carolinas. This is what we're going to georeference. Just as an example, clearly since you already have states data, you wouldn't need to do this, but you might need to download something else, such as a map of a foreign country or a map of Georgia, like we will do during this exercise, and georeference that as well. So let's go ahead and close that. First thing we want to do is we want to open up GeoMedia. We're going to do a blank GeoWorkspace. Make sure you have plenty of map window. We're going to make a new connection. It's going to be to US sample. Browse. We're going to go to our folder on the C drive. Connect to US sample. And let's go ahead and just display states. So there we have the United States. In your particular work, we do want to have a north arrow and a scale bar. I'm not going to do that in the demonstration. Now, if you'll remember, the look of the TIFF image, it's going to cover this area right in here. So it's going to cover this area right there. Let's go ahead and make a new warehouse. We take the default here. go to our folder, open up the folder, and let's call it Southeast. Save. That's where we're going to go ahead and insert the interactive image and also insert the GeoTIFF, output GeoTIFF and insert it. So now that we have that new warehouse, let's go ahead and open up a browser window. And I'm going to type in, I'm going to go to Google because I haven't given you this link. We're going to type in Perry Castaneda. And what we want is Perry Castaneda Map Library. Left click. We want to left click on United States maps. Here's the collection. And Perry Castaneda Library at UT Austin is a great, great resource for maps of the United States as well as other countries on the planet. You can see the list of map opportunities here. We're going to go to Georgia and left click. And you want to download a map that's in JPEG or TIFF format. You don't want to download one in PDF. So here's one, Georgia reference map, JPEG format. Let's left click on that and the map will display. Then we can just right click, save picture as, and let's go ahead and go to our C drive. We want to go to our folder. Just click on that and save it just as its name, Georgia Reference 2001 JPEG. You notice it has underscore, so there's nothing in there that's going to give us a problem with the Geo workspace. Okay, once we're done with that, we can close this window, open the file, and there's Georgia Reference. If I right click and open with, I can open it with Microsoft Paint. That's a standard software you get with the operating system. Once it's in Paint, what I want to do is I want to File, Save As, and then we're going to change the format to TIFF. Leave the name the same and just save. The reason we do that is because you could possibly georeference a JPEG image, but you couldn't output it as a TIFF or a GeoTIFF. So you're just wasting your time. So let's go ahead and minimize that now. And everything looks like we're ready to do some georeferencing. So when you interactively place an image into the map window, you can place it anywhere you want. What you do is you left click and hold and draw a box like you were zooming in, or like I fenced in, like here, left click and hold and let go. So you need some space to put that image in there, and I like to have the scale of the image about the same as the scale of the features that we're georeferencing to. So in that instance, what I want to do is I want to take the pan feature and I'm going to move the United States over to where we have enough room over here to insert this image, which is the counterpart of that. So once we're ready to do that, we're going to go up to Insert, Interactive Image, right there, left click. Browse to find the image. It's not in warehouses, it's in your folder. And we're going to select Southeast Base TIFF. Right there it is. Left click, open. We're going to put it in a warehouse named Southeast that we created, and we have to give it a feature name. So call it a southeast base tip, just tip. We're going to name the geotip geotip. Click OK. Once we click OK, you'll notice I have a crosshair. Now remember, it's about this size, so I'm going to left click and hold and drag it down to the southeast, you'll notice, and let go. So there's my image. It looks about the same size as these features do here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to georeference this, and it's called Tools Image Registration is the command we're going to use. So we're going to highlight this by left clicking in there. You'll notice the margin around the tip image became green. We're going to go into Tools Image Registration. And what we're going to do is create a new registration, and we're going to go back and forth between image and feature over here, and we're going to click corresponding points. So we're going to click a point here, and then we're going to go over and find the absolute corner of these vector features that have geometry and click there. So we'll have a 1 here, a 1 there. We'll go here and click 2. Then we'll come over here and click 2. So we'll have a 2 there. We'll use this boundary between South Carolina and North Carolina for 3 and 3 and 4 and 4. So it's just repetitive back and forth. Well, during this process, you can zoom in and out. So you can use your magnifying glass. You can use Fit All. And when you hit escape, you'll come right back to the digitizing mode. When you're done with digitizing, we'll double click up here and register the image. So once again, I'm going to left click to make sure it's highlighted, because if you move around and you're clicking around, you'll lose your highlighting. You have to have this selected. We're going to go to Tools, Image Registration. I'm going to move this up here. We're going to do a new registration by left clicking. We're going to name it Southeastern or Southeast, and left click on Add Points. You'll notice now that I have a crosshair with the snap tolerance ring in it. The first thing I'm going to do is zoom in to this corner right here. I'm going to right click. I'm going to go up there to what I believe to be the center of the corner, left click once, and then 1 did appear here. But once we hit Fit All, you'll notice there's the 1. Then I'm going to zoom in again to this corner, and I'm going to go right to that intersection, and you'll notice that I have the icon for the end node, left click, Fit All. Now we have a 1 and its corresponding point that has geometry. So this is not registered. It's out there in the middle of space. It doesn't have any geometry. It's tying these 2 points together. Zoom in again to Louisiana. Put 1 right here. You'll notice the bottom of the 2 came out. Fit All. Zoom in. Don't try and do this without zooming in. I right click to get back to my tool. Left click. Now I have 2 and 2 corresponding points. There's the 2, there's the 2. I'm going to go over here and do this one. Zoom in. We want this to be as precise as possible. Right there at the end of the boundary. Left click. You can see the 3. Fit All. Zoom in. Now, you notice I have the magnifier. I can right click to get rid of that. Pick this point right there. You have to have that icon to do this. Fit All. So we have 3, and I'm going to do a 4th point. Now, I'm going to make a mistake. I'm going to actually do a registration error, introduce it, so that I can go show you how to go back and fix errors. I'm going to zoom into Key West. So I'm going to assume that Key West is accurate. Left click, there's number 4, Fit All, and I'm going to zoom in to the last vector feature out here, which I'm assuming is Key West. And I'll just put a point anywhere there as soon as I get a good icon. So there's 4. Fit All now. Now I'm finished. I have 4 points. I'm going to double left click in the white space away from any feature. And my new image registration window comes up. Has some RMS values in here. These should all be about the same, so we can see there's some error in here. The higher the residual, the higher the difference, statistical difference between 1, 2, 3, and 4 here that have geometry and 1, 2, 3, and 4 on this image. So it's comparing the geospatial relationships. We're going to tell it to register by left clicking. By the way, if you don't register button's not lit up, you have to re-select this and go into Tools, Image Registration, and Edit. Now, how do I know this is good? First thing I'll do is just left click, hold, and drag the image down below, and you can see there's some error. The easiest way to see error is to make this a little bit thicker in red. So now we can see there's some error there. So how do we fix that? First thing we do is we're going to zoom in, and I'm going to left click. This isn't highlighted, so I know the image is highlighted. We're going to go to Tools, we're going to go to Image Registration, pull it out of the way, Southeast is highlighted, I'm going to left click the Edit button. Okay, here's my registration points. Here's the problem, 4 and 4. You see that? That's most off. So what I'm going to do, and that's where the error is in the map, I'm going to highlight right here to the left of the column, or the left of the row. In item 4, I've highlighted it, and I'm going to delete that point. Now 4 is going. Now I'm going to add a point, and I'm going to click on the image first, right down there, and then I'm going to go right there till I get the icon, left click. Okay, I'm going to fit all, double left click. Now look at the residuals. They went from in the 6 and 7,000s down to the 1,000. So RMS error is pretty good for this particular paper map. Tell it to register, and now you notice that we just don't have that error. We could tweak this and tweak this all day, but this is fairly good. So that's how you register an image. That's step 1. Now what we want to do is we want to preserve this georeferenced image. If we let it go, every time we opened up GeoMedia, that image would have to be in there and it would have to re-register. This would go through the process, even though you are not telling it to do it, it would have to re-register. So what we're going to do is we're going to highlight it by left-clicking on it, and we're going to go to Warehouse, Output to GeoTIFF. What could be easier? Here's the Output to GeoTIFF window, Miller Lab06C. I'm going to save myself some time by just left clicking there to pick up the name, and then I'm going to go in and left click and take the TIFF out and type GeoTIFF. That way I know this has geotags, and save. You should get this particular message that says GeoTIFF tags written successfully, okay. Now, how do I know it's a good image? I'm going to right click and turn this image off. I'm going to go up to Insert Georeferenced Image, leave the mode as automatic, browse to our folder on the C drive, just highlight the folder and click OK. So all the contents of the folder are there. And we called that one USA Southeast Based GeoTIFF, TIFF, right here, not TFW, TIFF. Left click to highlight that and click the right arrow to put it in selected files. If it is not a GeoTIFF, you're going to get an error message right here, and you need to see what's going on over here. We're going to put this in the Southeast warehouse, and we're going to call it Southeast GeoTIFF. Don't name it the same as another feature. Let's go ahead and add a new legend entry and click OK, and you'll see it popped right into place. Now, if I opened up a brand new Geo workspace with nothing else in it, and I had a warehouse connection, I could insert this image. So this image is good to go. You can copy it to folder upon folder upon folder, and as long as you have a warehouse to connect it to, it'll pop right into place. And you'll notice that the lat lawns are perfect. We can roll that up above it, and you'll see it has the geospatial integrity of the original image that we registered. So let's go ahead and turn that off. And now, if you'll remember, we downloaded and converted the state of Georgia map from Perry Castaneda. So we're going to georeference that. Let's go ahead, and I'm going to just use my magnifying glass now to go in here and get me some white space. You see how I'm defining the area I'm zooming to? Now I moved Georgia over here, and I have all this white space to interactively place my image. I'm going to go to Insert Interactive Image. Browse, it'll take us right back to the file, the job file, project folder, and we're going to look for the TIFF image. That's the JPEG, and if you roll across this, that's the TIFF. It says TIFF right here. Left click, open. We're going to put it in Southeast, and we're going to call it Georgia TIFF. Just Georgia TIFF. Okay, and we're going to draw a box about the same size as Georgia and let it go. So you notice it's about the same size. Now, for ease, we can move it over, and we're going to go through the process of georeferencing this map. Now, before you do that, you should have a minimum. You have to have a minimum of 3 points to georeference. When you're georeferencing any image, map, or whatever, you want to take in as much of the north-south, north to south, and east to west extent of the map. Because if you use this point to georeference Dalton, Georgia, Atlanta to georeference, and Macon, first of all, you don't have all the north-south and you have no east-west. It's going to smash this map, and it'll be a sliver of what it is right now. So keep that in mind. 4 points is better. So I'm going to left click, and now it is selected. I'm going to go to Tools, Image Registration. Now, Southeast is there. We don't want to use that. We want to do New. Let's call this one Georgia. Once we have a name, add points. Remember again, image first, then the geometry. So, where are the best points to go? Well, corners. Okay, right up here in the corner, midline. Don't be sloppy about this. Be as precise as possible. Left click. And then in this instance, we don't want to fit all. We just want to get Georgia open. Go to the corner and left click. Let's zoom into, you notice how I'm using my magnifying, my zoom in, zoom out. Let's get this corner right here. By the way, if you're using cities, and you can georeference using towns and cities as well, because you have points in there, you don't have to have them all in Georgia. You notice I'm waiting for the icon, which would be the end node. So I have 2 points now, 1 and 2, 1 and 2. This is an ideal intersection. It's better than this corner. So I'm going to use that intersection. Intersections are always best for georeferencing. Dead center of the intersection. And that's this point right here. Roll over. There's the icon. Now let's take a look where Savannah is. It's messy. But let's see if we could find something out in there. Oof, I don't know. I think we should use this point right here, if that's a good point on the map. Let's see. Yeah, that's a pretty good point. So I'm going to try that. Maybe a mistake, but I'm going to put a point right here. And we're going to zoom into right there. Catch that corner. Let's now fit all. Double left click. Very low residuals register. Okay, so the residuals are really low. Let's go ahead and drag Georgia down below and take a look at it. Really looks pretty good. Looks very good. You see the line? The boundary of the paper map, this dark printed boundary, and the red feature is almost perfect. Looks great. Now, why would you do this? Well, you may not have a feature in cities for McRae, for Douglas, for Alma, for Swainsboro. So now you have a map where those things are plotted. Is the map accurate? Not necessarily. It's a paper map, but it's sometimes the most accurate um, information source you may have. So you may need to do that. What else could we do? Well, this particular map shows um, the city boundary of Atlanta roughly in here. If you have no other data for the municipal area for the boundary of Atlanta, you might have to use it. You might have to use it. So let's fit all here. Another good rule of thumb, honestly, when you're digitizing like this, is that the paper, the rectangle, the squareness of these corners should be about the same as it is in the real world. If this thing is skewed like a parallelogram or a trapezoid or something like that, there's probably something wrong with your georeferencing. But keep in mind, it can't be perfect. Okay, I want to output this. And you notice I've got states on top, so I can't select it. Pull states down to the bottom, and then left click. Now it's selected. How do I know it's selected? It's green. Warehouse, output to GeoTIFF, Georgia reference 2001, and I'm going to call it 2001 GeoTIFF, and save. GeoTIFF tags successfully. By the way, there are a few coordinate systems that GeoMedia will not output a geotag to. So if you get an error message that says invalid coordinate system, click OK, go back in there, and change the projection to something like Albers equal area. Okay, I'm going to turn this off, and I'm going to insert the GeoTIFF. Georeferenced image, automatic. I'm going to browse. I should still be in my folder, but I'll click it again, let it refresh. There's Georgia Reference 2000 GeoTIFF TIFF, not TFW, TIFF. Arrow over to the right. I'm going to call it Georgia GeoTIFF. I think the last one we called. Add a new. Okay. There it is. Push the states back up above it. And we have a GeoTIFF now that you could use for a variety of purposes. We could also, if we wanted to go in there, by the way, suppose I wanted to measure the driving distance from Macon to Tifton, or let's go to Valdosta. I can go to Tools, Measure Distance. This is in meters. Let's get it in miles. So we left click on this little icon. You've seen this before. This is actually the Unit and Formats tab from View GeoWorkspace Coordinate System. Let's get out to 3 decimal points. Click OK. Oops. We want miles. distance, miles, right there. Okay, so now it's miles. And Macon, and I wanted to go to Valdosta. I'm going to do this a little sloppily, but we're going down the highway, and we would zoom in to trace this perfectly. GeoMedia, when you're tracing, has a little bit of fuzzy logic, so it's going to follow these pretty well. And we're going to zoom around Tifton there. Close, close, close. So the mileage from Macon to Valdosta is exactly 147.692 miles. How close is that? Pretty darn close, because I've driven that already. Okay, I'm done with that. Hit escape. We're out of that mode. Fit all. I'm going to view, and we're going to throw in a north arrow and view. Let's put in a scale bar. Double left click. We're going to do double block. Change the units to miles. Okay, so we have that. Well, let's go ahead and make a layout window because you're supposed to do layout windows. So we're going to go to Window, Show Layout Window. Here's the key. If you're doing east to west, I've mentioned this before, east to west, so horizontal kinds of features, you want to use a landscape orientation. If you're doing vertical kinds of things like just simply a state, you would want to do portrait. So for this one, we're going to get us a little extent to this, and File, Page Setup, and we're going to do Landscape. Click OK. And Fit All. I'm going to go back to the map window. I'm going to zoom out once, right in the center. Okay, give me some room to draw a box around here. I'm actually going to change this back to black because I just can't stand that red. Okay. Window, go back to the layout window, insert map. We're going to do it by rectangle. Click OK. Left click, you don't have to hold, and box around, getting about the same margins. Left click. And left click. While it's highlighted, let's go ahead and insert a legend. I'm just going to let everything go. Click OK. We'll put that right there and make it very small. And let's go highlight it again, insert north arrow, has to be highlighted. We'll put that over there. And we'll adjust the size of that down. And highlight it again, insert scale bar. We want a double block, and we want it to be in miles. Okay, pop that right in there. And you can make changes in the font and all that, but I'm just demonstrating this. And finally, we're going to left click to put some text in there, and we'll make it about 20 point. Left click down there, and we'll just type Georgia Geo and click this pointer. Then you can highlight this, move it up, and set that up. If you wanted to, and I encourage you to do this, put your name here too. We can do that by clicking text. This time we're going to do it small. 7 point. Click right there, and I'm going to type my name. Okay, and click the plus. Then how do we get in there? Just zoom in, left click, and put it up there and line it up. fit all. There you go. Not bad. I'm not saying this is a perfect map, but I'm just showing you how to set up your layout window. You can actually close this, fit all, and if we reopen it, window, show layout window, you'll notice it's still there. Now we can make this static by going ahead and left click, right click, properties, and click the static button. If we wanted to make another map, use in the map window, what I would do is right click, insert, go to sheet 2, go back to sheet 1, left click and hold and draw, frame everything out, control C, go to sheet 2, control V. There's everything in there, and this is still dynamic. Go back to sheet 1, left click, right click, and we're going to properties, make it static. Now you notice the TIFF image turned black. That's a problem with GeoMedia. What you need to do to make that not happen is go into the map window, double left click on here, and you see where it says translucency? Change it to 98. Well, come on. I'm sorry. 1. There you go. Change it to 1. Okay, so we made it just a tiny bit translucent. Let's go over to the layout window. This one's gone. History. Can't do anything with that. This one here, if I'm going to make another sheet. We'll see if this works. Make a fool out of me. Insert. So I'm going to frame this out. Control C. Go to sheet 3. Control V. Okay. Go back to sheet 2. I'm going to left click, right click, properties, static, okay. Now you see just that 1% translucency allowed it to convert this. It's converting this into a JPEG. The only other thing you have to do is you have to left click on the legend, right click, and we want to convert that to graphics. The reason we want to do that is because it's still dynamic, even though the sheet is static. Convert to graphics. So now you notice they're all separate graphics. Because I screwed this up, I can just right click, delete that sheet. And there you go. So that's basically the lab. At least what you have to know. You do not have to turn this lab in. I'm going to go File, Save Geo Workspace. I need to put it in my folder on the C drive. Call it Weinmiller Lab 06. Save. Okay, and you should save it because this work is work that you can continue on after the midterm. And I'm just going to close this. And let's go ahead and take a look at the folder again and make sure that everything looks fine when we reopen it. Looks good to go. Let's see what the layout window looks like. Let's close the layout window by just closing it. Let's open it again. Everything's still there. Haven't lost anything. Haven't lost anything. Okay. That is the demonstration for Lab 6 for any procedures that you will need to do the midterm.